Hello everyone, welcome back to the Flicks Files. And here we are, we're now on part 2 of my Arrow Blu-ray collection. I really hope you watch part 1. If you haven't and you're watching this video, then why? Go back and watch part 1 first, then come and watch this video, and hopefully you will find some films in part 1 that you like, and you've left me a comment to say which your favorites out of the ones I talked about in part 1. So as I said in part 1, I surprised myself by how many Arrow Blu-rays that I had. I didn't think I had that many, but it turned out I had 29 of them. And 3 of them are like kind of special edition box sets. So I'll leave those 3 till the end. But I'm going through them alphabetically. So I'll just get straight into it and talk about the next movie. And that movie is RoboCop from 1987. Oh my God. I saw RoboCop at the cinema. Now, when I think of 1987, it's probably one of my favorite years for movies because so many films were released in 1987 that changed me as a person. RoboCop's one of them. It's just a bloody fantastic movie, and I'm sure everyone that's watching this will have seen it. And if you haven't, you need to give yourself a damn good slap and then find a copy of this movie and watch it right now. And yeah, 1987, God, I saw this at the cinema, I want to say 3 times. So that's how much I loved it. And then to think that this and like Predator came out fairly close to each other. And Predator, oh my God, that first movie is fantastic. And my favorite Bond movie was released in 1987, Living Daylights. Star Trek IV, A Voyage Home. You know, so many great films released in 1987. Yeah, Inner Space, Joe Dante's Inner Space. Fantastic film. Why did that not make a bucket load of money? I really don't understand it. But yeah, RoboCop. Fantastic film. We'll definitely be doing a deep dive about it. We'll be doing a deep dive about all of these. So, but the Blu-ray is fantastic. It's got a lot of extras. I know they did a 4K version of this, but I genuinely wouldn't have thought the 4K would offer that much in terms of uptick in detail, because it is a bit of a grainy movie. It's never been the best looking movie, RoboCop, but that kind of adds to its charm, its grittiness. So I'm quite happy with the Blu-ray. I don't think I'll be upgrading this one, but I'm damn glad that I own it, and I'm so glad that Arrow got the rights to distribute this film and give it the sort of special edition physical release that it needed. And there's a really good documentary about the making of RoboCop, which, as I'm saying this, has completely gone out of my head as to what it's called. But I know it's something that I want to watch because it's meant to be really good. But yeah, RoboCop, love it. The next one is Ronin with Robert De Niro. And you talk about Ronin, and yes, it is the one with the car chases. Everybody remembers this movie for the car chases, and for bloody good reason, because the car chases in this movie are probably some of my most favorite car chases, full stop. I'm going to do a video at some point that will have like my top 5 car chases of all time. So spoilers, this will be in that. And who knows, it may even be at number 1, but it's just a great film. And I had this on DVD, and the DVD wasn't brilliant. As I remember, it was what they called non-anamorphic, which meant that it didn't kind of automatically fill your widescreen television. You had to kind of press a button on your TV remote and stretch the picture, and it looked bloody awful. And then when I heard that Arrow were doing a release of it, I couldn't get a copy of it. It was really hard to get a hold of. And I never do this, but this is one of the very, very few times that I bought a used copy because it was the only one I could find. And luckily, it's in really nice condition. There are no marks on the disc. But I'm really glad I've got it because it's just a cracking film. And yeah, some amazing action sequences in it. So that's Ronin. This next movie is another movie that is in my top 50 of all time. So again, I won't be doing a video about this anytime soon. I'm going to wait until I get better at making videos before I talk about this. And it is Terry Gilliam's 1981 movie, Time Bandits. And I first saw this on videotape at my friend's house when it must have been, it must have been when it was first shown on British television. So whether that would have been around 1984, I want to say. But I just adore this film. It is so fantastic. And I had the misfortune of watching the first episode of the Time Bandits TV series that was released recently. And it was bloody awful. That's my review of it. Awful. What on earth were you thinking? And Time Bandits is just lightning in a bottle. It's fantastic. How you can't remake it. It's one of those movies that I hope they don't try and remake. I mean, they had to go with the TV series, and I started to watch the first episode and just thought, oh my God, I can see where this is going, and it was just awful. But I absolutely adore Time Bandits, and it's just a bloody brilliant Blu-ray. So thank you once again, Arrow, for giving it the treatment that it deserves. So the next movie is William Friedkin's To Live and Die in L.A. It's about as 80s a movie as you can get. What with its soundtrack, its look, and it's a damn good film. I absolutely love it. And I must have seen this when it first came out on video. I didn't see it at the cinema. So it must have been when it was released on rental. And I've never owned a physical copy of it until now. At this point, I was getting so impressed with Arrow's Blu-rays that I started to look through their catalogue, and any that really jumped out at me. Like, oh my God, To Live and Die in LA. I've not seen that in decades and I really love it. So I just picked it up. And it has a twist in it, which I'm not going to give away. But if you haven't seen this movie, I guarantee when you watch it, there will be a moment in it that will make you go, oh my God. And so, yeah, I just love it. So I'm really happy that I've got that on Blu-ray. The next one is another one of my Arrow 4K releases. And it's Tremors, the movie Tremors from, I think, 1990, starring Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward. Fantastic. I mean, it's about as good as a science fiction monster movie can get. It's just absolutely brilliant. I loved it when I first saw it. And it's one of those movies that when I do watch it, I just love it even more. So it's like getting better with age. It's like a barrel of whiskey. The longer you leave it between watches, the better it is when you do watch it. It's just fantastic. So I highly recommend that one. Another 4K release. This is Tony Scott's True Romance. One of the early Quentin Tarantino scripts that was sold and made by a different filmmaker. And it's a really, really fantastic film. Really good cast. Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, really lovely leads and supporting casts. Like, I'm just looking at the box. Dennis Hopper, Val Kilmer, Brad Pitt, Christopher Walken, and Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman, as I remember, is only in this very briefly for a few scenes, but he makes such an impact. I just love Gary Oldman's earlier work. There's a movie called State of Grace that he made in the very, very early 90s that I want to do a video about that I've always liked, with Sean Penn and Robin Wright. And that was directed by a chap called Phil Joannou, I think his name is. Didn't make many movies, but bloody hell, that's a really good film. And Gary Oldman is in that, and his acting in it is just fantastic. Honestly, I'm going to do a video about that one movie because it just needs more love. Then we have Waterworld. Again, I know they've done a 4K of this, but I don't know whether the 4K has this, but the Arrow Blu-ray, certainly the copy that I have, has 2 discs in it, and one is called the theatrical cut, and the other is what they call the Ulysses cut, which is about 3 hours long. And I thought that would be a really good fun watch, and it is. But unfortunately, some of the extended footage that they've edited back in isn't of the best quality. So it's a bit jarring in places when a new scene plays and the quality dips. So I think it's safe to say that it didn't really add much to the movie. So from now on, whenever I do this, when I do give this another spin, I'll just watch the theatrical version. But it's a lovely box set, and I'm glad I've got the extended version because it was a good curio. It was a nice thing to say that I've seen it. But I'm just happy to have it on Blu-ray. The next one is John Hughes's Weird Science from 1985. I think I pretty much have all of John Hughes's movies on physical media, bar 2. And they are 16 Candles and She's Having a Baby. They're the only 2 movies that John Hughes directed that I don't have on physical media. And Weird Science, I saw this when I was 15. I saw it when it first came out. So I was the perfect age for this. And I always thought that if that had have been me, I wouldn't have made Kelly LeBrock. And if anyone's watched part 1 of my Arrow Blu-ray collection, they'll know who I'm going to say, who I would have made from a computer and a little doll, and that would have been Jennifer Connelly. But really good fun film, and a lovely, lovely Blu-ray. The box feels very odd. I don't know what it is about this box, whether it's the inks that they used, but it feels like if I hold it too long, the ink will come off on my fingers. It's really weird. I don't know what it is about that box. Now, this is a cracker. The next one is a movie from, I'm going to look up the year for this one, so please bear with me while I look down, because I want to get the year right. 1982. And this is a movie called Who Dares Wins. And the tagline on the front of the box says, "The closest you'll ever get to knowing the secrets of the legendary SAS." And I've read that people that are ex-SAS servicemen adore this film. This is like their Bible. And I can see why, because it's bloody excellent. And as an Englishman, I am very proud of the SAS. I would say they are the best soldiers in the world. And I know the Americans would disagree. But, you know, that's fine. But yeah, and this is just a bloody great movie. And it has an actor in it called Lewis Collins. And he was very famous in England for doing a TV series in the late 70s called The Professionals. And he played like he was just a good like action actor who did a lot of his own stunts. And it was widely tipped that he would be the next James Bond. But for whatever reason, that never happened. And it's a shame. I'd like to think in an alternate universe, he was James Bond. And he did a run of like 5 movies and was very successful. But it never really worked out for him. And he made this, Who Dares Wins. And he's really good in it. And if you watch it, you'll see what I mean. And you'll just think, oh, you know, that would have been a great choice for a James Bond in the 80s. But we did get Timothy Dalton, so that's not a great loss. But a great film. And again, I'm really looking forward to doing a deep dive review stroke retrospective on this, because it's a movie that I think not many people remember or have never ever seen. And I want to give it a lot of love and put it out there for people to revisit. So the next one this is an easy one. This is The Wild Geese. I have recently done a deep dive on this. In fact, that would have only gone up last Friday. No, the Friday before. So if you're watching this on this particular video on the Tuesday, if you go back a couple of weeks in my video history, you will see me talking about this very movie, The Wild Geese, and everything that I have to say about it. So that's all I'm going to say about that one. Suffice to say, that's quite a hard one to get hold of now, so I'm glad that I've got it. Okay, the next one is With Nail and I. Again, nice and easy. I've already done a deep dive on this very movie. Unfortunately, that was a video that I had to drastically cut down because of the bloody YouTube copyright strikes kept flagging it up. And all the clips that I included, I had to keep trimming down, and it wasn't the video I wanted it to be, because this is very much a movie about character and dialogue. So in order to get that across in the review that I did, I tried to include a lot of clips, but it just got flagged up by YouTube. So I had to change it, which is unfortunate. But yeah, you may as well check out what I had to say about it. It's not a very long video, and there might be some things in there that will make you laugh. So we're down to my last 3 Arrow Blu-rays, and now we get into the sort of little special edition box sets. So the first one is the boxed version of David Lynch's Dune. Now, this is controversial because not many people like David Lynch's Dune, and they will always go to the Denis Villeneuve Dune that was released recently, the 2-parter, and rightly so, because they are amazing movies. But as amazing as they are, I will still revisit David Lynch's version of Dune, because there's a lot of things I like about this movie that I feel he did better than the new version of Dune. And one of the things I like about this movie is the production design and the look of it. I think as nice and as brilliant as the new Dune movies are, Denis Villeneuve does tend to use very minimalistic sets, in that you will have a big stage, a big set, but it seems sparse somehow. I noticed it with Blade Runner 2049 as well. I don't know whether that's like a budgetary thing or whether it's just his visionary style in that he likes minimalism. But David Lynch went a bit further with the production design, and I always liked, say, the look of the still suits and the way the Harkonnens look in David Lynch's version. And Baron Harkonnen with all these horrible skin diseases, and the heart plugs. They have like heart plugs that you can pull out like a pull ring on a can of Coca-Cola, so they just bleed out. There's loads of like things in that I really like, and the mentats with the red stained lips because they're drinking the juice of Safu that speeds up their brain power. It's just brilliant. And the box set comes with a lovely poster and a nice kind of behind the scenes book, which I think covers a lot of it. Is about no, it is about the making of the movie. For some reason, just then I thought it was about the costumes, but it's a lovely little box set, and I'm glad I've got it. It's a movie that I've always liked, and to anybody that says they've watched it but it doesn't make sense, I would say watch it again, but pay very close attention to the opening monologue by Virginia Madsen. And if you can absorb the little bit of information that she tells you right at the beginning of this movie, the rest of the movie will make more sense to you. So it's very important, if you're going to watch this movie, to listen to the opening monologue by Virginia Madsen at the beginning. You're probably too busy staring at her face thinking she's gorgeous. But if you just listen to what she's telling you and absorb it and remember it, the rest of the movie will make more sense. So there's a little tip for you. So the next Arrow box set that I have is the box set of the first 3 Hellraiser movies. And I always say the first Hellraiser, it's usually the case with any series of movies, isn't it? Where the first one's usually always the best one. It's like Nightmare on Elm Street. The first one's always the best one. And I always liked the very first Hellraiser that Clive Barker directed. But I remember seeing Hellraiser 2 and Hellraiser 3 when they first came out and liking them, and thinking what they did with the concept and how they moved it forward was fun. So I was happy to have this, and it's a lovely box. It's a really nice product. And again, I know they've made a lot more Hellraiser movies, but I've never seen them. Whether it's the law of diminishing returns and with each one they just get worse and worse, I'll probably never find out because I don't really have the impetus to watch them. So in my world, Hellraiser finished at part 3. I'll never see the others. And the last, but by certainly no means least, Arrow box set that I have is again one of my top 50 favorite movies of all time, and that is Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Oh my God. When I think of the summer of 1991, when this opened, it was an event. I'd not long since started a new job when this movie came out. And I remember trying to get to know all of the work colleagues that I was working with. And this movie kind of brought us all together because it was one of those, have you seen it yet? Have you not been to see Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves? And I ended up seeing it like 3 times at the cinema. And I've loved it ever since. And I know it's got a few things in it like Kevin Costner and his accent is all over the place. But it's just such a damn good, fun movie. And Alan Rickman in it, my God. I mean, yes, he steals every scene that he's in. And it's just joyous watching him. God love him. You know, the world was a much poorer place when Alan Rickman died. There's no doubt about it. But Kevin Reynolds needs a lot of kudos for this movie because he really captured the raw kind of nature and beauty of the woods and the whole thing around Robin Hood and living in Sherwood Forest. And there's some terrific action in it as well. And this comes with this is probably what I was thinking of when I was talking about the Dune box set, but this comes with a lovely behind the scenes little making of that I think focuses a lot on the costumes as well. And it comes with a really nice poster, which I've actually got framed and it's hanging on the wall in my movie room. So I'll show you a little picture of that where I've got it on the wall. And yeah, it's just a lovely Blu-ray, a lovely box set, and it was just a must buy. I had this on Blu-ray. I had the I think it was the American release that had the extended cut on it. But when I saw that they were doing this 4K box set and all the extras that came with it, it was like, right, get the older one sold and buy this. I didn't even have to think about it. It was just like a reflex instinct action. But I love that movie. And again, I can't wait to talk about it in its own little video. But I want to do the movie justice, as I said with the others, and wait until I get better. And maybe when I do get round to that one, that will be a long video because there's so much in that movie that I love that I would want to talk about. So yeah, that's something to really look forward to. So there we go. That is all of my Arrow Blu-rays. And again, as I said with part 1, with this 14 that I showed you, I would hope there would be at least one movie in there that you would choose out of all of them, that you would go, yeah, that would be the one for me. And it may be that if you're watching this and you're a movie collector, you've probably got most of these anyway. If you haven't, why not? I'd want to know. Well, there we go. So once again, thank you to X-File 2708 for giving me the idea to make this video. And I've really enjoyed it. It's been a nice little exercise and a great way of pulling some more movies off my shelves and showing you. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that. And you can look forward to my next deep dive review that will be coming out on the Friday, on the week that you watch this. And if you like this video, please give me a subscribe. It really helps me out. I don't want to grovel too much about subscribers, and so I just tend to just throw it in there really quickly. And sometimes I forget to mention it at all. So thank you once again, and I will see you next time, guys. Bye for now.